Hi everyone, welcome to our lesson on balance and design called Zendoodles. Zendoodles can be done simply with a piece of square paper. You can have a pencil if you want, but traditionally these would be done just using a black marker. I've got a couple of different markers here. Both are Sharpies, both are black, but they're in two different sizes. We'll show you some other ways to do Zendoodles that kind of take it out of the usual, and that way you can make your work really your own. The first step when doing a Zendoodle is to put a dot in each corner of your paper. The next step is to connect those four dots in some way. Sure, you could just make another box inside of the square of your piece of paper, but you can also jazz it up by making some irregular edges. Start at one dot and just work your way to each dot after that. Okay, done. The next step is to divide this area into different sized spaces. I don't have a requirement as far as how many spaces you should have, but it should be enough so that you can do plenty of designs to make your work as interesting as possible. So the next line we're going to draw is called the string. And you should start on one of the edges of the line that you just made connecting the dots. After you start there, you are going to leave your marker on the paper and just break it up into different areas. Maybe you don't want to get too tiny, maybe you don't want to leave any too large. You can go outside of that edge that you have created. And when you feel like you've divided it into enough spaces, you simply stop on one of the other edges. Which edge you stop on does not matter. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to start putting designs in each of the sections. And again, you could use either one of these sized markers depending on the size space that you have that you're working on. There's some really good resources out there. You could just Google Zendoodle or Zentangle designs and you will get lots and lots of designs to pick from. Another good resource is this Zentangle Basics book, and it does give you different ideas and step-by-step design ideas. So let's say I just want to pick a section and start putting some designs in it. Maybe I'll start with some circles. And it's okay if you want to draw these out first before you start coloring some areas in, or you can do it as you go. But one of our goals is to get about 50-50 balance, black and white. So sometimes I like to go ahead and draw out my designs first before I start filling in with the marker, just so I don't go overboard right away. I can utilize the edges of my shape to also add visual interest. If I wanted to continue in this space, maybe I would take my differently sized marker and add some smaller circles. You'd like to have a variety of designs. So while these are very soft, very round, you might like to go to another section and then do something a little bit more angular. Be relaxed while you're doing your work. You know, one of the reasons why people do Zendoodles or Zentangles is to, well, get Zen. To have a relaxed state of mind. Maybe we'll go back this way now, kind of create a checkerboard. And you'll notice that the two designs I've started with have enclosed spaces. So that'll make it really nice for when I do want to go back and color some things in to get my 50-50 balance. They're not just lines. Now that's not to say that you can't do line work as well. You could do some designs that don't really have any areas to color in, but you would really want to spread those out into different areas around your Zendoodle to keep that balance. It's okay if you want to repeat some designs here and there, especially in some smaller spaces, some things that seem to work really well. But it is possible to do one of these with a completely different design in every single section. Now I'm going to share with you some finished student work, some people that really did a great job with the project. This student has excellent black-white balance. Okay. You'll notice maybe that this is cut out, but you don't have to cut yours out. I just did that so that the student's name was not attached. The black and white balance is really good. Good craftsmanship, filling in those areas with the marker. Good variety of design, very well done. But there's other things that you can do with Zendoodles. You don't have to just do the designs. You can also add words. You could do designs around the words or inside of the words. You probably saw it already, but this student added their name, Walter. Really nice variety of lines. I can tell that this student used both of the black markers to just get some different texture and some different line weight, and that worked out really well. You can also include objects. So this student was one of our football players, and he decided that he was going to start with the object. He did more heavily inked designs on the inside to really accentuate the football, and then did the lighter designs around the outer edge. And even though the dark and the light aren't balanced all the way to the edges, the focal point with the darker areas balances the lighter areas on the outside edge. But you do not have to be restricted to just black and white. This student added pizzazz by including colored pencil in their work. And you might also, if you have your own watercolors or some colored markers to add some little touches, that would be okay as well. Now this student used color throughout, but you might just have a focal point in the center, perhaps your initial, your name, or an object that you're just doing color with your designs instead of doing it throughout the entire thing. So I hope that you feel like this gives you some good choices for your work, and I can't wait to see your designs.